back here for another World Cup video, and in this one we're going to be going through all of the groups, examining them, renaming them, and seeing which group is the group of death. And big reminder to check out my original World Cup predictions, which came out a couple days ago. We've had some great interactions in the comment section. As always, be sure to like and subscribe on this one and drop your comments down below. So let's get into it. First here we got Group A, and this one is just the trash. This is by far the worst group in my opinion, because you're looking at a pot 1 team in Qatar. The only reason they were pot 1 is because they're hosting the competition. They should probably have been pot 3 or probably pot 4 if they weren't. Netherlands, great pot 2 team. So I do think they'll top this group, but then Ecuador and Senegal, one of those two will probably make it out the group. This one just gets trashed because there's no other great viable competitor other than the Netherlands in this group there. Next we get to Group B, and I'm dubbing this one the fist fight because we got a lot of rivalries and a lot of political history between these sides. So first you got England and the U.S., obviously Revolutionary War. Tensions were big in that 2010 game in the World Cup. There's a lot of banter between these two teams, football or soccer. What do you term the sport there? Then you have the Euro playoff winner, which could be Scotland or Wales, which also would be a big rivalry game, either of those two for England. And then you also have the potential of Ukraine, which would be crazy considering what's going on right now with the Russian invasion. And then you have Iran. Obviously, they have some foreign policy history with both England and the U.S. there. So this one's getting a fist fight. These teams probably don't like each other, and it should be some great competition there. Next, we got Group C. I'm just giving this one the solid. It's just a great all-around group. You got Argentina, a great pot 1 team. They could potentially win the competition. Then you got Saudi Arabia, really rounds out this group. That's really the 4th place team. They're one of the worst teams. But then you got Mexico and Poland, who will duke it out for that 2nd spot. One of them maybe could challenge Argentina, get a draw, or maybe a surprise win. So I think it's going to come down to 2nd place versus Mexico and Poland, but they are 2 good teams, so I'll say this one is a relatively strong group. Next, we got the World Cup curse, as we have France topping the group out of pot 1, and they won the last World Cup, but there is a trend going on where the previous World Cup winner, despite being a massive favorite in the next tournament, doesn't seem to get out of the group stage. It happened for Italy in 2010. It happened with Spain in 2014. It happened with Germany in 2018. Now, the difference with the last 3 winners, is that their groups were all pretty tough and their teams were somewhat worse. Now, I don't really see that for this France team, so I think it's pretty unlikely that it happens again. But you do have a pretty good Denmark side that will be able to challenge this French team, as France did lose in the round of 16 last year to Switzerland in penalty kicks. Then you got that intercontinental playoff winner, and that could be Australia or Peru. I will mention that they were both in France's group in the last World Cup, as was Denmark. And they didn't make it easy on France, although France did top that group. So it gets the cup curse there because France could get knocked out. Next, we get to Group E. And a lot of people are calling this the group of death, I feel like, but it's just not mine. I'm giving it the 2-horse race because really for a group of death, you need 3, probably 4 major competitors in the group where it would be really shocking if they didn't get out. And I really just don't feel that way about this group. Sure, you've got Spain and Germany, 2 probably pot 1 teams. They deserve to be. I think that Germany should have taken Portugal's spot as the last pot 1 team, but it is what it is. Them 2 are in the group, and that 2nd match between them 2 should be very thrilling. But then just the other teams in the group. First, you got Japan. They made it out of their group last World Cup, but I just do not feel like they are a very elite team. I don't think like they're really challenged Spain or Germany. And then you got Costa Rica versus New Zealand for that intercontinental playoff. I presume that Costa Rica will win, and they did have a shocker in the 2014 World Cup topping their group, but I just do not see it here. I do not think they match up well against Spain or Germany, coming from CONCACAF, playing against a European power. So give me the two-horse race here. I think it's Spain v. Germany for the top, and the loser of that game goes to second. Next, we get to Group F. In this one, I'm dubbing the Group of Death, but I had to put quotation marks around it because it's not a genuine Group of Death where there's 3 to 4 elite teams, and it would be a travesty if one of them didn't get out. Gonna see a cutthroat group. I mean, it's similar to that, but really when I'm thinking about that, I think of like Group F in the most recent Euros, where you had Portugal, Germany, France, and Hungary there. 3 teams that are elite that could win the entire tournament that are matched up in the same group. I don't really feel that way about this one, but it is the closest to the Group of Death that we have. So first off, you have the Pot 1 team, Belgium, who, elite team, although they are aging, they could definitely win the World Cup. Then you got Canada out of Pot 4. Now, I always felt that Canada was one of the most dangerous Pot 4 teams. Whichever group they went in, it would probably be very difficult for all sides involved. Then you got Morocco, good Pot 3 team, one of the most slept-on African sides. I think they could present a problem here, although a lot of people will pick them to get fourth. And then obviously Croatia. They were the runners-up in the last World Cup, and they gave Spain everything they could ask for in that round of 16 match. I've had a lot of disagreements in the comments with some Croatian fans on my last video. So they are very passionate about their side, and a lot of people seem to think that Croatia will make a big run in the World Cup. So next, we get into Group G, and I'm giving this one the close second. Close second means 2 things. It means close second to Group of Death because I think this one could be considered a Group of Death as opposed to Group F, but I like Group F a little bit more. And then also from the standpoint that Brazil's going to top this group, but who's going to finish in second? I think it's going to be a battle between Serbia and Switzerland for that spot. Watch out for Cameroon. They could potentially get some upsets in this group here. So I really like the depth of this group, and I like the talent because Serbia and Switzerland, if they get through, they could present some challenges in the knockout stage. Next, we get to the final group, Group H, and this is also a trendy pick for the Group of Death in this World Cup, and I just don't see it at all. Now, it is true that it's conceivable every team could make it to the knockout stage from this group. Theoretically, any team could top it. I don't feel that way for some other groups, but that does not mean it's the Group of Death. I mean, there's no real elite teams here other than Portugal, maybe Uruguay, although you're pushing it there. So I just see it's anarchy. Any team can get out, but that does not just mean it's a Group of Death there. You should see some thrilling matches in this group, but I just do not see it as the Group of Death. So with that being said, let me know what you guys think about the names of these groups here. What do you think of my Group of Death with Group F? Do you think there's another Group of Death in the competition? Let me know in the comments down below. As always, be sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next one.